Hey everybody, John Ponick with the Mojave Valley Daily News. This is our Valley Voices segment that we do every Thursday at 4 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. Today I have Ed Catalfamo. How you doing, Ed?
Great. How you doing, John?
Good. Ed is, I don't know that I need to introduce him, but Ed is the general manager of the Anderson Auto Group Fieldhouse. But I'm going to go a little bit over your history.
Great.
All right. Ed was the events manager prior to being hired as a general manager for the Colorado Bell and Edgewater. He also ran the regatta for 1 year with the Bell and Edgewater. Was that Golden? Was it called Golden at that time?
It was Marnell.
Marnell Gaming.
Correct.
Yes, that's what I meant.
You got it.
Prior to that, he was with the city for 22 years in the recreation department, helped develop the regatta. He's also been the Barracuda swim team coach for 24 years. Is the Mojave high school swim team coach, has been for the last 10 years. That was after spending 2 years as the Melk swim team coach. And, Jeff, can you bring up that photo?
Sure can.
He's also an Army veteran. So he didn't know that this picture was coming up. I think he'll be very entertained by it. Look at that guy.
Boy. Good golly.
Did you
Airborne.
I didn't know you were
That was
going
a
to
few years
surprise them.
ago.
That was
a few years ago.
This was right before you went, right before you started coaching for the Barracudas, right?
A few years after that. Yeah.
Look at that guy. He's a very, very nice. So we appreciate your service. If you haven't read the story of Ed, we did a feature on him for last 4th of July. Let me know. I'll send it to you. Or come on by and check it out. So let's start with, so your responsibilities at the field house is you're responsible for booking commercial and community functions as well as coordinating school, academic, or athletic events.
Correct.
You're also the janitor, the cook, the
Everything all above. Whatever needs to get done gets done.
Yeah.
And I have a great team. We all work together. If we, one part of the rubber band stretched, we unstretch it together and we get things done. And I'm lucky to have a great team.
And I think a lot of people think of the field house as the big giant football field with the stands, but you also have that huge conference room in there. Do you get as many bookings for the conference rooms as you do for the rest of the thing?
We are now.
Yeah.
The rooms have picked up tremendously, from weddings to birthday parties, lots of meetings, lots of trainings. Golden Vortex does their minor training in there now. So we also have management companies that use it for their monthly meetings, and it's just a great place and it's kind of centrally located between Fort Mojave and Bullhead, so it works out great for a lot of people to meet at the centerpiece.
Yeah, we had our ACES Awards in there this year. We used all 4 rooms, but you can also segment it down.
Yeah, we have four rooms that can be one big room, which would accommodate up to 400 people, depending on how many tables you throw in there and chairs, or each room could be blocked off and do like 100-person meeting room space. We also, in the fall, we'll do community classes there. We do a lot of community outreach programs. We did things on like vaping, education for parents, which was really well,
Good
and
stuff,
nutrition, and a lot of things that our school works hard to get out to the local community.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're going to be talking quite a bit about the field house, but first I want to go through some things, clean up some things on the Barracudas.
Okay.
Seeing as how we're in swim season right now.
We are.
So you've had 3 meets already. I believe you have another one this weekend, right?
Yes,
Against the Sand
we
Sharks
are
again?
in Needles this weekend and next weekend, and our final meet, the Colorado River Finals, will be in Bullhead City. We'll have about 600 swimmers, so we'll have Needles, Cottonwood, Sedona, Lake Havasu, Payson, and the Kingman team as well.
Okay. I don't understand it, and we see it with all their sports, but it seems like Needles just turns out great teams year after year after year, and their swim team is no different.
They have amazing, and for the past 24 years that I've been involved with swimming in the area, always have great swimmers in Needles.
Now, you had a chance to go up against Cottonwood last weekend, and you guys handled them pretty easily. do you get more out of something like that, or more out of having this tough competition right down the street from you?
I think having the tough competition from Needles keeps us both highly competitive because we're considered a summer club program,
Like an
instead of
AAU
a
kind of a thing?
year-round
Yeah.
USA swim program. But our two teams can compete with any USA,
Really?
Arizona swim team. We very, very well coached from Needles. They've had a long history, a lot longer than ours. Their team has been around over 100 years now. So,
Wow.
in fact, when we first started the Barracudas, we kind of latched onto them, and they helped us guide through all the new guy stuff. So,
Yeah.
and they were very, very helpful. And we've just always gotten along great. The kids get along great.
That's good. I think that's important
Yeah,
as well.
it
Yeah.
is.
Do you have you guys ever discussed putting together kind of an all-star team to go and compete with USA?
We have a few years,
Yeah.
especially since we got the heaters in the Bullhead pool when we got the big solar project done. Thanks to the Legacy Foundation and the city allowing that to happen. It was a big project. It was like a $200,000 project.
That was awesome. Yeah.
And then things kind of stalled a little bit. We're still small enough to where we're trying to grab as many kids as we can, but most of our kids also do baseball, softball, track, wrestling. So a lot of our kids doing multiple sports. So we'll get there, but we would have an awesome combined
all-star team.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you how the team's looking, but I think going by the results, it looks like the team's doing pretty well.
Yeah,
this
they're
year.
doing great. We've got a lot of it. Last year with COVID the way it was, we only got in the water for about 3 weeks before they shut us down, and we weren't taking new kids last year because of that. We were just trying to get the kids that had been on the team before involved, and so this year half our team's brand new, which is great because we're rebuilding, and we've got a lot of 6 and unders now. We did a big push on that after our first meet when we hardly had any. So
Yeah, and that's what when I was looking at the results, it seemed like any place that you struggled, that's where it was. It was in the 6 and under, and maybe some of the 7-year-olds.
Right.
But
Yeah.
after that, it looks like you guys pretty well had business handled.
yeah,
for
those
sure.
younger groups were tough, and we have you have to be able to swim across the pool without touching the bottom or stopping. So there's a little bit of a requirement there. Once we know they're strong enough to at least do 25 meters, we teach them everything.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I've been working really hard on my pool, and I'm pretty well. I can do the 25 meters without.
All right, come
touching
on down.
the
We'll
bottom.
test you out.
All right. I'm good. I'm in.
One
I
of the
almost-
great things too is this year I have 2 assistant coaches that were previous Barracudas,
Yeah.
and one of my
that?
assistant coaches, Lauren Jackson. You probably know her from the 911.
Yeah.
She was one of my swimmers, and now she's assistant coaching, and her daughter's on the team.
Oh yeah.
So
that's
they're my grand kudas.
Grand kudos. You know what, I was thinking about that when I was putting this together. I thought, man, I coach down at River Valley, and I go around the community, and I'll see people that I coached, and now they're a few years older, not a lot older, but they're a few years older, and they're married and having kids, and
Right.
their kids are coming up through. One of my former football players reached out not too long ago, and he wanted to get his son into the Firebirds, and I thought, that can't be. You
Right.
can't be old enough to have a son yet. So
It really puts the age on you when you look at it like that, or you
But it's-
see them out, and last time you saw them, they were 10 years old, and now they're adults. Hey,
Yeah.
coach. It's like,
got a full beard and can't recognize
you look a
him.
little different. Give me a hand.
That's funny. Do you have any standouts that you want to? I know that you have one guy that's looking to set new records this coming year. Caleb?
Caleb Riggs. He's going to be our senior at Mojave, returning captain. He's doing great. We've got some old records from Lyle Mayashiro still holds a bunch of our records. He was one of our original Barracudas from back in '98, and he actually went on to swim at UNLV.
Oh, wow.
So he's a pretty fast swimmer, and Caleb's right there.
Right there with them?
He's ready to do it, and
Good.
that's what records are for. So I think it was a 2004 record.
Wow.
It's one of our oldest ones. So hopefully he gets it.
Any Madeline McDonald's that you want to call out for this year?
Madeline is doing a lot of traveling this summer, but she's got one more year. So
does she?
She can even come back next year.
She was setting records last year.
Oh yeah. She was over in Europe visiting her sister, and I think she's just getting back, and then she goes off to Mexico for a Rotary Club function. She's a busy gal, as we all know.
When we were doing the
Very
ACEs,
talented.
it was like every category, just about every category, she was involved in it anyway, a bunch of them anyway. So
She's a very talented, the whole family is amazing.
Yeah.
They all are.
Now you have individuals, but you also have relay teams in that, and you count on different individuals as well. With it being over the summer and a lot of people wanting to get out of the heat and travel and vacation and all that, how does that affect the team?
It definitely changes the strategy, but it's next man up, So luckily we're deep enough in all of our age groups now that the next one fills in, and we hardly miss a beat. It's pretty good like that. But it is tough. And you can't blame, especially after last year where you couldn't do anything for parents to want a vacation, and a lot of them have been great about it. We took a little break over the 4th of July week, so a lot of them took that time. But we're missing a bunch this weekend, and that's just, we've dealt with that for 24 years, COVID or no COVID. It's just summer vacation time, and you just deal with it.
That's why they have to have a coach.
That's right.
Coach them up when they get back.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the field house. You talked about COVID. A lot of areas were really decimated by COVID. I understand at times that it was tough for you guys because people that were already booked canceled. But you also were kind of the benefit of our area being, for the most part, open versus what it was out in California or other areas, right?
Correct. So obviously from March until August, we were completely shuttered. So that definitely hurt, and that put us in a deficit, about 154,000. And even August, we started at the end of August being able to open up a little bit with AIA stuff. And once we were able to do that, we were able to get some other groups in there. So beginning of September, end of August, we were able to turn it a little bit. And once we got, a couple of the groups in, the word spread. So,
And that was because you were still limited because it's a school district owned building, you have to follow the school district guidelines. Okay.
So we had to file AIA guidelines and the high school policy, the crush policy. But once it opened for the football season, we were able to get occupancy to 25%.
Okay.
Once we did that, we were off and running. In fact, last year our attendance grew over the year prior by 58%.
Well, even being closed for that period.
Even being closed and operating at 25%. There was wrestling tournaments I could have had 8,000 people in there. We're limited to 2,000.
Were those wrestling tournaments coming here because of the rules here versus the rules in some other place, or was that something you already had? I know that you had
wrestling. We had already had started building a great relationship with RMN Events, and they love the facility. I mean, they can put 30 mats in there, and you could have 2,000-3,000 kids. In fact, in December we're looking at a 4,000 kid wrestling tournament.
Yeah, I saw it listed on there on your website. I saw it listed, but Smash. Yeah.
And they're doing now like 5 wrestling tournaments a year with us because they love the facility. They love working with my staff that are great, and just we get the job done.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how do you find these events? Do you reach out and court them?
We do some, and a lot of it is through Facebook and our website, and word of mouth.
I saw that there was a story on the field house in Engineering Weekly or something like that, where they were talking about the facility. Things like that have to help as well when
Oh, for
people
sure.
start seeing
For sure.
things.
What we noticed with our outside regional visitors, it's our YouTube.
Oh, really?
We're getting good on our YouTube, and not just ours, but the groups that come in that
So
we'll get 80,000 hits for an OG Ducks game. You know, they're nationally ranked. They're usually top in the country for U14, U12, and then they're top 20 in the younger divisions. So we actually had 8 of the top 10 teams that played for the championships in Miami or in Orlando play at the field house.
well,
So we got a huge amount of exposure.
and because of that exposure, that's something that other people see that and go, hey, well, why don't we have our tournament out there? And is it
Which
something?
led to soccer. We're getting calls for rugby, which
Really?
would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I want to do rugby, field hockey, lacrosse, boxing, MMA. All those kind of things.
Motocross?
Motocross. Well, not motocross, but
BMX.
BMX. So we're getting a lot of inquiries about a variety of different things
That's awesome.
that people want to do, and we're looking at more concerts. I know that's something the community would like to see, and we're working on that. The problem leading up to this was the backlog of people already had concert schedules, so they're
Oh yeah, you
trying-
got to find it.
it's almost like starting the airlines up again after
Yeah.
9/11. It's trying to get that train moving again, and they're starting to do that and opening up. So we're working with a bunch of different groups of trying to squeeze in during a trip to here or a trip to here.
Yeah, so they have like we're supposed to be attending a concert that now has been pushed again, but it's not that they rescheduled our concert so they could do another one. That whole touring schedule has been pushed back. So, and then also to keep the costs down, when we did the Jody Messina one, we caught them between Phoenix and Vegas or something. I think she was on the way.
And that's
too,
what we're
so.
looking at, different artists that might fit into that junket where we can squeeze them in. We would like to try to get something around Christmas going. And then in April, we're looking to do a couple.
Do another big one?
A couple big
Good.
ones.
They're so expensive. Oh my
They are
gosh, they're
expensive.
so expensive.
Yeah.
But it's something the community wants. That's for sure. So you've been doing this for a few years now. Is it 3 years?
It's about 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has this been harder? Take the COVID thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Has this been harder, easier, or about what you thought it was going to be when you were hired?
It's been very challenging. COVID on top of everything, obviously.
Because
biggest
you were taking it from zero miles an hour.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, you've known this from your experience. It takes a little while to build up clientele,
Right.
and we're getting a lot of repeat bookings, and we've got about 8 big promoters that we've been doing a lot of different things with. We just did a couple months ago, 142-man 7-on-7 pylon.
That was the
flag
youth
football.
Yeah.
And they weren't just booking the field house. Now they're booking the fields at Mojave, Rotary Park, River Valley Community Park. So they booked all the fields and played the championship games at the field house. And the division that got to play in the field house was the older, the 18U
Right.
teams.
Kind of like the Route 66 tournaments where they play at Mojave and River
Yep.
Valley and
Yep.
Needles, and then they all end up there.
Just because there were so many teams and
Yeah.
divisions, they were renting everything in town. So,
And then your relationship with the casinos have to help as well, building packages for these people to come in and stay and, and that as well.
We work with the casinos to, give rates to the different groups, and they've been great as much as they could through all of this. But we're also seeing a lot of Airbnbs and some people talking about buying homes here just to have for the
As Airbnbs?
5-6 times they
Oh,
stay here.
yeah. And
then
Airbnb it
in
the rest of the year.
So they're getting that getting kind of a lot of ancillary business that way.
I hadn't thought of that. I was talking with Steve D'Amico yesterday about TOT funds, the TOT funds, transient occupancy tax, and it had jumped from like 75,000 to well over 200,000, and I couldn't figure out where that would be. The Motel 6 down here is now a Motel 6 versus what it was, but that can't be responsible for all of it. But that makes sense that there's probably a significant amount of people that are Airbnb their places when they're not here.
Well, especially with the limited amount of rooms when they reduced the room, over across the river, it opened up a lot of the vacation rental properties in our town.
So then, in answer to my question, it started hard, and outside of COVID, it's been getting a little bit just because of the connections you've made have been starting to.
Yeah, that side of it. The challenge that I find on a day-to-day is the balance. So we've obviously it's for the kids to do the football, soccer, academics, but it's also a community event center.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do community stuff, and then we got to pay the bills with the rentals.
I was going to say, and all the time you still got to
shuffle and try to make this beautiful facility a place that everybody can get behind. That's why our fun festivals were huge, and you were in the beginning of that. Our movie nights have been well attended. Obviously, Facebook locally is our way of spreading the message.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is the regional medium that we use the most, and then we just reinforce everything with our website.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I mean, the Fieldhouse has to make money. In the end, it has to make money, but it's here for community, it's here for school, and all this other stuff. But in the end, you still got to keep that in mind.
Right. And the neat part is we do try to get the kids involved as much as we can. Our broadcasting, we now have broadcasting clubs at both schools. Mm-hmm. They both have advisors, and they're bringing the kids to learn the TriCaster, the show production, Ethan Fromm is one of the most talented kids I've ever met.
We're trying to get him over here.
And we're not letting. I told him that they're closed. Don't go over there.
Lose my number.
But he's great. He does a lot of our website stuff too, and but he's teaching other kids. So I told him, it's not just valuable that the information. Now it's time for you to, because things progress. You're going to be off to college soon, and
or to the newspaper, or whatever. Yeah. I mean,
wherever he may land, he's a very talented kid. I could see him with NBC or Fox or CNN or he can do it all. Audio, visual.
He coordinated
really
our stuff for the ACES Awards with Jeff, and it was, Ethan, we have a problem with this. Okay, let me take care of that. Here you go. All right.
So. He's been very valuable to us, and we'd like to think we're teaching him a lot of stuff too, but he's also teaching us.
Yeah.
So.
Good. All right. So you've got, I saw on your calendar events, you've got all the River Valley Mojave games that are scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
You have those up. Is there anything else coming up that you talked about the thing in December?
Yeah, we have both schools will be doing their football camps next week.
Mojave starts Monday. Huh?
And then the following week, River Valley, and River Valley is also bringing a few out-of-town teams to come as well. And then we go right into pretty much football season, where we have a scrimmage, and then every weekend we have youth football, and every Friday night is Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, yep.
And it's going to be fun to have everybody back
and have real crowds in there.
And the atmosphere is just, it's collegiate, really.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. It's a great facility with the giant screen up there. The sound system is perfect. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that you've got referees running out on the field with the professional holding.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome as well. So we only got a couple minutes left. I'm
I
looking
thought I had
through
an hour.
Half hour.
He likes it so much he wants to hang out
Jeff
for
starts
another
shutting
hour.
me off at a half hour. He's
He's
like,
like,
wrap it up. I'm going through these comments thinking that somebody's going to ask a question, and it's just a nonstop hello, hi Ed, good guy, great man of the community, love all the family events. I'm not sure if Kat wants to go and watch rugby or compete. Kat,
She wants to
Kat,
go.
you let us know.
But great coach, great boss, and all around great guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
thanks.
one of our regulars, Brenda. So what is it? What hasn't been held at the field house that you would like to see, or do you think would be perfect for the field house that just hasn't been there yet? Is there something that you are going, man, you know what I'd really love to see here?
I really would like to see a BMX.
Yeah?
Not just the dirt BMX riding, but the freestyle with the half pipes and
Oh, yeah?
X game style event. That would be really cool.
Well, it's
And-
certainly big enough for that, and put the floor down on that. Or just
Oh yeah.
watching them do the back when I was with the Mesa Kiwanis Club and we did the Corn Fest down there, watching them come in and set up all the dirt ramps and all that. Oh man, that was a lot of work.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. But it would be
and
fun to see.
it's the same with half pipe. All those types of things. It's a whole crew coming in and doing it. In rugby, I just think that would be really cool.
That's very exciting.
And one thing that I know will happen, so keep your eyes and ears tuned to that, is we're going to do an indoor carnival.
Right on.
So that's going to that's coming.
Yeah. And that's that's one of the great things about it is that because it's indoor and it's in a tourist area, between the river and the casinos and all that during the summer locals can go inside where it's nice and cool, and during the winter the people from Midwest and North and that want to have events throughout the year can come down and do it as well. So that's awesome.
I'm working with Toby and Jeff and Dave at the city. We're going to be collaborating on a lot of things. We're going to be doing some walking programs so people can come in and walk in the morning. So some open field where the kids can come in and just throw the football around or play soccer. And so we'll be doing a lot of those community type things in partnership with the city. So we're working on that plan right now, and pretty excited about that partnership with the city, because that brings a lot more resources and a lot more of the community can get involved within the field house.
Yeah, and they're very motivated over there. I know that Toby's a big athletic guy, and obviously Dave is for sure.
For sure.
Although Dave and I aren't on the best terms right now because of his sons versus my Bucks.
Okay.
But I think that after this is over, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
You'll shake hands again?
He's a big guy, so I'm hoping there's no issues.
Better shake hands.
Yeah, I'm willing to shake hands.
I get
David says new bridge should help with access from Laughlin, and that for sure.
Absolutely.
But I think also one of the things that we've talked about is the property between the field house and the water. The guy that owns it and had it zoned. I've talked to him a few times about his plans over there, and he's got some pretty cool plans as well. So that should help as well.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of requests for walkthroughs from other architectural firms, other cities.
Oh, to walk through the
Cities
field house
as
and see
far
how they
back
did
from
things.
New Jersey wanting to come in and do a walkthrough. They're thinking about doing this type of facility in their town. So that's kind of neat. And we're actually, Orcutt Winslow, the architect, just signed on to renew their sponsorship. So
Oh, good.
because they know that we're getting those types of requests.
Yeah, so you're still selling sponsorships. You got all
Absolutely.
different priced sponsorships in
We
there.
got something for everyone. So that's one thing we did is we tiered it because this is our center. So I want every business to be able to afford to be in there.
Good. All right. Well, I don't have anything. Oh, Kat Smith said that she will participate if there's a rugby
She'll-
team for her.
she'll
Yeah,
watch
play.
and participate.
Yeah.
Doing a big job fair that actually Murphy Broadcasting at the end of the
I
month.
saw that advertised
So
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
excited. A lot of different things. It's amazing how many different things that we've had in there already. We did a big car show and an expo, and
You do our winter
doing
expo.
the winter expo, farmers markets.
You
It's
did Aces Awards?
Aces Awards was huge. We can pretty much do everything but swim.
Yeah,
Ice
so
skate.
when is that?
We could build one, but it'll be pricey.
And the whole tear down thing is, taking that floor up is rough work, but taking the pool out and then the floor, that's
Yeah,
gonna be even
that
harder.
would take some doing.
Yeah. What, and that's one thing that need to stress as well, is that you don't have to rent you don't have to put the floor down and fill up the whole space. You can segment it off as
Right.
well out on the floor, which
Yep.
is what we did for our Winter Expo.
Yeah, if you just need a little, it's versatile up to 9,000 people, from 10 to 9,000.
Yeah.
There's a space in there for you.
All right, so if you want to sponsor, if you want to
Advertise.
advertise, you want to see what's coming up, all that stuff, best bet is go to your website.
Yep, or give us a call, 928-219-3030.
219-3030. All right, Ed, thanks a lot, man. I
you,
appreciate
John.
you coming down, and I appreciate everything that you're doing out at the field house. And I will, I'm going to run home and grab my trunks, and then I'll meet you over there
right.
for that 25
I'll
meter.
get my whistle.
Is it 25 meters or 25 foot?
meters.
Well,
Take that back.
I might need a little bit more practice.
Practice, yep. Get your Wheaties on.
All right, everyone, thanks for joining us. Remember, tomorrow morning we have the Daily Dose at 7:30. Please join us. Next Wednesday for Q&A, we have Leo Biasucci will be sitting in here. So get your questions ready for him. Jeff, thank you,
Thank you.
and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Get ready to type, people.